Wherever you're listening this from, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, in the evening, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast. And I also want to invite you to take action, physical action. Go and do something with 1, 2, or 3 ideas that you've heard me or you will be hearing me share. And while you're taking action, why not engage with other people, invite them to listen to what I have to share, discuss it with someone else, and in that way you'll help me empower more people. The Success Mindset podcast will be taking a shift into 2026 and beyond. And I'll be moving more into a new chapter, grounded in authenticity, guided by experience into adventure, and fueled by a deep desire to help people. Using my life lessons, some of the coaching programs that I've taken, the failures that I've had in my life, hopefully I can communicate with you the benefits and the ideas that can help you in your life. Each episode invites you to reflect, realign, and rise to another level of your potential, your performance, and productivity. You'll find personal stories, leadership insights, practical tools especially, that spark both your head and your heart. For most of us in business, we are run by heads, okay? And we really take time to really feel what's going on within. That causes conflict. That causes a lot of stress. But if we can bring both into realignment and bring the heart and the head to think and work towards one direction, you're almost guaranteed of better success. At least for sure, less stress. Now, every potential starts in a seed. Okay, that there is a pumpkin seed. Quite small, as you can imagine. Now, if someone has never seen a pumpkin fruit, but have seen the seed, or have seen the pumpkin fruit and never seen the seed, you will not know how the end looks like. And so also the idea that lies within you, the ideas and the dreams that lie within you, they probably have not been seen, but they are full of potential. And at the end of the day, we normally end up with that to that. In between these two, there's something called time. Okay? So there's seed, time, and harvest. Okay? Seed, time, and harvest. So I'll be diving deeper into the ideas and trying to help you hone into that which is within you, give you practical tools, ideas, things that you can apply on a daily basis to help you move forward from where you were. So whether you're a business owner, a team leader, or someone who's simply just sick and tired of getting mediocre results, you're going to find this podcast is for you, and you're going to find a lot of value, not just now, but in the coming future episodes. All the episodes are designed to foster introspection, inspire clarity, strengthen confidence, and help you cultivate a culture that not only you and your family will benefit from, but also your local community and your businesses and your customers. So I want to invite you into this new chapter as we grow through time towards the eternal light. Recently I had a conversation with one of my mentors, and I told him, I have failed too many times and I don't really think I have anything of value to offer to people. He knew my desire to coach and my intent to help as many people as I can with some of the ideas that I've applied and learned. He asked, Ernest, if you compare yourself who you were 3-5 years ago and who you are today, are you the same person? I emphatically said, no, I'm not the same person. I've grown, I have learned, and I've changed. Not perfectly, but purposefully. My mentor reminded me and said, Ernest, your trash is another man's gold. A few years ago, I lost my business, lost my seed capital. During COVID, I was under immense levels of stress. By God's grace, my wife stuck with me because she's my number one business partner and she's my number one fan. And that's something I wish for you. And in time, I'll teach you some of the things that I've learned to make that initial relationship become very solid. But I was going through a lot of stress, like most of us. I'm not unique in this condition, right? The more people you start talking to, you realize, as the scripture says, there is no temptations, there is no trials that are not common to all men. But how we come through them, different way, and problems and challenges shape us differently. So if you've struggled with imposter syndrome, I want to say welcome to the club. You're not alone. I love what Steve Bartlett, the founder of the Diary of a CEO, He said he sees the imposter syndrome, he would find a way to reframe it, and he calls it the growth syndrome, viewing it not as a flaw, but as a normal and even beneficial feeling that arises when you're being pushed beyond your comfort zone. And I realized, oh, okay, I have a desire to grow. I'm feeling a bit on the edge. I'm not so sure whether I can do this. The imposter syndrome says, stay back. But the growth syndrome, I like the way he rephrased it, says, grow. Okay? Because all you have is potential. What you need is time and experience, and eventually you're going to get to your fruit. The reflections over time and conversations with my mentors made me realize two things. The information, and that includes the people, the books that you surround yourself with, will determine who you become. And then number two, the goals and the visions that you set for yourself. So I look back and I realized, if I had not surrounded myself with the right information, with the right people, I would not have the value I have to offer. And if you look around, you realize the same. See, someone said that success leaves clues. And whether that's in finance, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in physical wellness, whether it's mental stress, whether it's in leadership, success always leaves clues. The idea here is to model certain behaviors, is to model certain attitudes, changing beliefs that will align you towards the top of the mountain that you have picked to climb. And together, I believe we can get there. In reflections from those ideas, the people that you surround yourself with, and the goals and visions that I've set for myself, something emerged out of them. And I asked myself, what are the two main things that have really shaped my life? I managed to coin them into these two things. One is the C.O.D.E personality framework. I realized there's a person that I am. I've always been. There's a person that you've always been. Maybe you've just never seen yourself that way. That's your C.O.D.E personality framework. And C.O.D.E is four-letter word standing for connector, organizer, detail-oriented, or effervescent. Connector, organizer, detail-oriented, or effervescent. Another framework, I call it the C3 leadership framework. And it's framed in three key words: confidence, communication, and culture. We are all a product of our culture. If you're in a culture of blame, you end up being a person with less confidence. If you have less confidence, your communication has a problem. But you can develop a different way of communicating. You can begin to shape your culture. So those are the two main areas that I'll be moving forward into my coaching programs. I'll be interviewing people who I have worked with in the past, who have helped me in my journey, all geared towards empowering you to grow from inside out so you can go from just thoughts and feelings into actions and results. Every one of us communicates from who we are without even realizing it. There's a way you communicate, and unless you have time to reflect, you don't have that awareness. Right? So if you're a connector, you're a relationship builder, you're led by the heart. People are your thing. You're a people person. On the other hand, we have people we call organizers. These are individuals who are meticulous. You tell them a long story and then they organize it in an order that you would not have realized. They cannot just pick up anything and dress anyhow. There has to be order. If they're going to go into a meeting, they don't do well with ad hoc things. You have to warn them in advance because they have a schedule to keep. They have a plan to follow. They're structured, they're grounded, and you're steady. If you're a detail-oriented person, you're precise, you're analytical, methodical, even though you might be messy. The organized person loves order. The detail-oriented may overlook order, but wants to make sure that the analysis and the precision of them, all the I's are dotted and all the T's crossed. And if you have a effervescent, wow, you are the light of the day, the flower in the middle of the room. You are the attention seeker. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you get attention, right? You thrive from attention. Whether that's bad or good. In most cases, you don't even realize. You're vibrant, you're expressive, you're a visionary. The idea is to empower you and equip you, not just to build a greater awareness on your personality, but also to understand how you communicate how you connect, collaborate, and help other personalities grow and create. If you're a business owner, this is going to be very handy. If you're a parent, this is exceptionally important because you get to understand your children from a very different light. And whenever you change your perception, whatever you're looking at changes. Okay. So that also goes into the language that you speak. How you communicate is all grounded by your personality. So that's the foundational aspect. Then you're going to step into the second part, which is the C3 leadership model. Communication, confidence, and culture. This is a guide to lead yourself and others from the inside out. When you listen to how you talk to yourself, all of us do, some of us verbally, there's nothing wrong with you that you're talking to yourself. I've worked in mental health for a while. I've studied psychology. And I want to tell you this. It's an absolutely normal, healthy state of being. You be able to talk to yourself. In fact, that's the first way you start catching yourself when you're thinking in the wrong way. And what does the scripture remind us? Apostle Paul said, pulling down every stronghold into the obedience of Christ. The strongholds are in your mind. Pull them down and bring them in alignment to what God has called you to be, what you are created to be. So we're going to go in from communication, self-communication, verbal and non-verbal communication, one-to-one communication, one-to-many communication. Confidence is an interesting word. It has a lot of trust to go with it. So if you don't trust yourself, it's going to show. Communication is expression. It's presentation. If you lack confidence, you're going to present information or a code that is not congruent, right? And then those two, communication and confidence, creates culture. If you look around the world today, there's a lot of shakeups in faith systems, in political systems, in financial systems. Most cultures are being shaken up. They're being shaken up by ideas that are growing from very simple ideas to some of them very positive or very destructive. If you look at what Elon Musk called the woke mind virus, that was an idea. People fantasized with certain things, but it's ended up causing a lot of pain and a lot of division. If you look on the other side and think of an idea like exploring space, it started a long time ago. And today, we are moving forward and faster with excitement and hope. So you can see that the cultures are shifting politically, faith systems, values are being challenged. So the question is, what can you and I do in our own space, in our own families, and then eventually in our community, in our countries, and in the world? These simple ideas, if you stretch them in time, they are exceptionally important. And they are pillars of communities. They are pillars of success. I'm reminded in the scriptures, if you look at how Joseph, who ended up being the second most powerful person in Egypt, he started off as a slave. But when you listen to his internal communications, when he was being set up by Potiphar's wife, he said, how can I sin against God and against my boss, your husband? What does that tell you about his internal communication? What does that tell you about his confidence? What does that tell you about his personal culture? So he had a code of conduct that he was determined he can never violate. And though the trials came, they didn't come to test his resolve. They came to show him up. And because he stood the test of time, he rose to the highest office. As we move forward, I want to invite you into this space of conversation. Let me know whether you find this information good. Tell me what I can do to help you grow. If you go to mycodeprofile.com, you'll be able to sign up to a waiting list for the actual code profile personality test. Okay, that is mycodeprofile.com. I'm going to put a link somewhere down here below. So go in there, sign up in the waiting list so that when I release this information, you'll be one of the first ones to begin to shift the way you see yourself, the way you see those around you, and the way you communicate. Start from a place of confidence, grounded in true authenticity. There is nobody that is bad. We just have bad choices. And some of us, we have bad choices because we have stayed for too long in the wrong environment. So I want to invite you to begin to shift those internal systems. I believe that 2026 can be your best year yet. I am planning for mine to be, and I'm praying for mine to be. As the scripture tells us, God looks at man's plans and laughs. But what if we trust him in every way and acknowledge him that he's able to guide us through a better future? And I want to invite you to do that so we can walk this journey together. Now, I've already uploaded a few episodes, so go ahead and listen to the next one, and let's start building a stronger foundation together. Thank you for your patience, your support, and believing in your growth. Until next time, God bless.